Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform. And if you're new, please consider subscribing and joining the family. And if you're returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. I have with me here Angham's second song from the brand Lattafa. The first one was in a bottle exactly like this, and it drew inspiration of Burberry Goddess. Now this is what they have given us as a follow-up, and I like the naming of this. So it says second song. I'm going to waste a couple of sprays, and I have played around with this. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with my atomizer, because my atomizer is quite stiff and every time I spray it kind of leaks. So I just hope it's because the fragrance is still fairly new, because I mean I'd hate to have an atomizer situation, you know, with this fragrance. Anyway guys, this is a burst of florals on florals, double, triple, whatever you want to call it. It's a very floral forward scent, and these florals are kind of green leaning. There is an evident greenness in the peony, in the white florals, the pear blossom. They have managed to highlight the greenness of the flowers than the actual, let's say, pretty floral coat. Yes, this is a pretty scent, but when I say green, I mean as in sometimes flowers can come across in a fragrance as just airy, that light floral touch. This is quite heavy in that floral weight, making it present a rosy feel or peony feel, but that is green leaning, and that's what you're going to get offset, right? So I'm in a scent bubble of a very flowery scent, if you will. Okay, this has been said to draw inspiration of Devotion, My Devotion, the EDP. I do not have that fragrance to compare. However, when it comes to second song, the way it is floral heavy, like a floral garden or a flower garden, is the one thing that I do not like about it, especially there in the opening. And it kind of holds up or holds on to that floralness for a very good, even 2 hours. This is a long-lasting fragrance, guys. This then lists the note of pear blossom, right? So there is that synthetic accord of a fruity pear in this, and when that pear emerges amidst that greenness, then there is what feels like an airy feel within the fragrance, but it still keeps that bold floral. And then they've gone on to put the tonka, but the tonka in this case is adding, yes, somewhat of a woody thing, but also a grassy accord to it. To me, this is a green floral scent, a fragrance that's going to leave you either loving it or not caring for it because of that. As I said, My Devotion, the EDP, I don't have, but this is you know, this fragrance has gone around as inspired by that, and some people actually say they get a better interpretation of that fragrance in this. If no one had told me, or I hadn't seen people talking and comparing this one to My Devotion, the EDP, I would have said this kind of feels in the same vein as their Atiri. If you bought Lattafa Atiri, the one with the bee, that is a very floral fragrance, and I believe that one draws inspiration of Gucci Floral Gorgeous Gugina, and that is what I kind of get in this. And Atiri is not one that I would put in my top 10 favorites because of that. Now, when it comes to second song after the 2 hour mark does soften up, and the softness I think I'll attribute to the use of the praline, but the praline in this does not make this one creamy or lactonic. I think what it does is it just then softens, you know, the florals, keeping them but softening them a little bit. So yeah, that's what I can say about this. It is very feminine forward, especially if you use a mental shortcut of floral fragrances being feminine toned. The greenness of how the flowers are presented in this can also make it such that some people will find it a bit mature. There is you know, the note of vanilla in this, but it's not a sort of vanilla that is weighing in as making this one sweet, nor the praline. Okay, so this remains that sort of greenish, tangy, not sour, but very garden vivid forward, you know, of a scent with a beast mode beast mode, lasting power, because this, if I don't give my hands a good wash, I'm gonna smell like this the whole day. So that's what I can say, guys, about second song. The quality in itself is good. It's just the profile that I keep saying I'm not too big on, but for what it is a good fragrance. Now before I wrap up this video, guys, I have two honorable mentions for you. I have decided to make them honorable mentions because Risala as a brand, though I am familiar with it because it is part of Sterling Perfumes, part of a Marv, is not a very popular brand. It's filtering in. They've got a lot of fragrances, but I don't see a lot of people talking about the Risala. So I'm going to make it an honorable mention for those who may want to know, because sometimes when you sit and you do a video, you know, with a brand that is little known, then there's very little interest there. I have with me here a fragrance called Maiden. This fragrance, guy, is a beautiful fragrance. I love what it's doing to my nose. The cap is very light and plastic, but I like this. Look at how it looks. Beautiful, beautiful bottle. Okay, so this is Meydan. Okay, Meydan. So this is going to tick the boxes for anybody, of course, who likes their fragrances to incorporate the note of rose, and in this case it's rose and patchouli. But the aha moment in this fragrance is in how, despite it being a rose and patchouli scent, it then brings to the surface, you know, a host of fruits there. It is the peach that is highlighted in this that makes it so beautiful. You're also gonna get a pineapple that works with that peach, and the pineapple feels ripened. It also feels a little bit even metallic, that sort of thing. So this is a gorgeous scent, guys. It ends up as a mouth-watering fruity scent because of how the fruits get in and somewhat domineer that rose. The rose holds up, but the fruits are really evident. It's not like these are shy fruits or anything like that. So absolutely love this. It dries down into this nice mouth-watering fruity scent that is brightened by a crisp apple, giving me DNAs that borrow from a lot. I mean, I get a little bit of what I get in Starry Nights in here because of the apple. Actually, the apple is actually done identically to the apple in Starry Nights, and then the rose in here feels like the rose in Rose Derby, something like that. So it is like kind of a fusion of fragrance that borrows off a lot of other fragrances, but in itself it's a gorgeously done scent. I absolutely do love this. It was a pleasant surprise. This is not something I had even put my nose on. My partner sent this and I tried it and I was like, oh wow, this is nice. The way that rose marries, the rose and patchouli marries with the apple, the pineapple, the peach, and dries down into sort of like a lemony thing where the rose gets lemony. Initially it's very floral, but then it gets into a lemony thing, you know, with everything they just marrying together to make it a beautifully done lemony rosy scent in a lot of fruits. This again is a fragrance I'll put at feminine, but for the gents who like to wear, you know, sweet and fruity florals, I guess they could pull this off. So in terms of ratio, I'm going to put this at perhaps 70% feminine and 30% masculine. But remember, guys, you do wear what you want to wear. And for those who've been seeing the house Risala, this is a subsidiary of a Marv, guys. It's a Sterling perfume, so you can consider adding some of these to your collection, because a Marv as a brand, we know they've given us a lot of good fragrances. The longevity on this is moderate. Okay, it does have a room feeding thing about it in the first hour or so, then it starts to tone down when everything marries each other to make it such a nice, sweet, warm, fruity, fun scent that you carry for at least 6 hours. And to me, it comes across as a scent that you can wear all year round. So this is Meydan from the house of Risala. Now, last but not least, guys, is going to be this one. Zaafaran yashbahak. Okay, this is the box, and this is the bottle, right? So I'm going to waste a couple of sprays. This bottle, if you look at it from a distance, will remind you of the Zaafaran. bottle. So I was thinking maybe this is going to be one of those that draw inspiration off the Zaafaran, but no, that is not what I'm getting from Zaafaran. Min, I have to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Min yashbahak. Okay. Now, this is a sweet tropical scent. It is also fruity, just like the Risala that I showed you, the Meydan. It has, elements of fruits in it, but in this particular case, it's mostly the mango that's paired with a peach. Mango, peach, making it a fruity tropical scent. And then the magnolia flower is what almost immediately comes to the surface as the floral in this. Of course, there are other florals, but it is the magnolia that I get the most because of how lush and how it rounds up that fruitiness without losing the fruitiness. But the magnolia has got this thing where it can wax things up sometimes, and that is what I'm getting from this. But I do believe it must have, some peony and all the other maybe white florals, even yellow florals. Okay, now this is a fruity floral crowd pleasing scent. You are going to carry the peach all through together with the mango, but it doesn't get to a point where you are going to say this is just all mango or this is just all pineapple or this is just all peach. Comes across as like a mix of that fruit juice, like a tropical feel of everything, where you've punched, if you were to make a juice, you put everything together, then you mixed it, you put it to your nose. That's what you get from this. And I like the fact that though it's a fruit party, it's not sticky or jammy to my nose. This smells similar to Victoria's Secret Very Sexy Orchid. I think that is what they were going for here. And it's one of those easy fragrances that you can just purchase, especially for a girl or a woman, without even worrying about whether they'll like it or not. This just gives you that traditional, expected, feminine, fruity, floral scent type of vibe. This one has the least lasting power out of the three that I spoke about. Of course, Angham, the second song, is a beast. And then Meydan, 6 hours, as I said. Now this, depending on the number of sprays, could push to 5 or 6 hours, but it's not really that much of a projecting scent. It's one of those that the wearer will enjoy. It could also be my nose, not being able to stretch the scent out. Perhaps because I was expecting something else, I don't know. But it's a nicely done fruity floral for those who may be looking for an alternative to that Victoria's Secret Very Sexy Orchid. It is called Min Yashbahak by Zaafaran. That is what I had for you today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Angham, the second song. That is the one I want to know, from you guys, whether you like it or not. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.